Have you noticed the world is changing right now like it hasn't for the last 70 or 80 years? That we are in a period of dramatic change, politically, economically. But has that led to a currency crisis? We are seeing volatility within the world currency markets, the backbone of world economic order. We're seeing volatility like we have never seen before. And what will that do to the price of silver? What will that do to the price of gold and the mining companies? We need to look at this volatility within the currency markets to get a clue as to what we can expect in the coming years and decades in the price of silver, gold. Let's get started right now. It appears to us that the world financial order is in a state of turmoil. We have central banks that are panicking throughout the world as the US dollar continues its march higher to near historic levels. And places like China and Japan, they are panicked as their currencies are becoming less and less valuable, requiring them to sell things like their U.S. treasuries to defend their own currencies. The dramatic moves are everywhere. Even in the United Kingdom, their pound sterling has depreciated in value significantly, hitting a 200-year low. Just recently, like a year ago, it would cost $1.40 US to buy 1 pound sterling. Now it's as low as $1.05. And a big portion of the developing world has taken out loans and, you guessed it, US dollars. So this rapid appreciation of the US dollar is causing serious problems in the developing world as well. 85% of world trade is conducted in US dollars, so it's not a stretch for us to see that the appreciating dollar is wreaking havoc on world trade relationships as well. And remember those loans that were taken out in US dollars by many of the developing countries? Well, those have to be paid back in US dollars which are much, much more expensive for these developing countries to acquire. And when they do attempt to acquire those dollars, that only pushes the dollar up further. It's like a doom loop of dollar appreciation. While our currencies may go down in value, you will never go down in value. To me, I appreciate that you've decided to join me in Ron's Basement. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here right now from wherever in the world you are joining me. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe right here. I put out a new video every day. You really do. You got a new friend for life. You can share this video with anyone you like. Leave a comment in the comment section below so we can learn from you and get to know you. Now let's get back to the video. And we see that the US dollar dominates trade, dominates loan balances. This is causing a lot of turmoil between the major central banks of the world. They're like, hey, we can't afford to deal with US dollars anymore. And everything's a big mess. We have the Japanese finance minister coming out and saying he will fight speculative moves in their currency, while at the same time the Japanese are engaging in the most easy money policy on the face of the earth. And a similar situation is unfolding in the United Kingdom, where their central bank is trying to tighten monetary conditions to fight inflation, but the politicians are talking about more handouts for the population. So not only do we have central banks throughout the world at odds with each other, within each individual country, we seem to have central banks at odds with the politicians. It's not a stretch to see that something could break very soon. And all of this is going on with the backdrop of these world central banks trying to mop up the big mess they've made over the last decades of easy money policy. And we have a world that is geopolitically at war, the East versus the West, with major war going on in Ukraine. Things look very, very dicey right now. And we haven't even mentioned the fact that the world has more debt right now than any other time in history. As a matter of fact, the United States is the most indebted country in the history of the world. Our total debt is equal to the whole world's GDP. But we don't have to worry about anything, right? The man behind the curtain has this all under control until he doesn't. And at that time, we'll be happy that we invested in the world's original insurance policy, silver, gold, and the precious metal mining stocks. They've seen this show a few times over the last 5,000 years. Gold and silver have always been valuable everywhere. Remember, there's no counterparty to physical silver or physical gold. They are their own intrinsic value. I have a feeling that when this whole thing starts to fall apart, people who've invested in silver and gold will be happy they did so. It will provide safety and security to their family as we move through these turbulent times. Hey, thank you for joining me in Ron's Basement. You're always welcome here. We'll make it through this together, and until next time, you be well.